Every team is hyped up before the season. We think they're going to make the playoffs, the Super Bowl, all that good stuff. But then there's the teams that don't do any of that, and they disappoint their fans and themselves. They have all this talent, but yet they can't live up to the expectations. So today, I'm going to tell you which teams and players have been the biggest disappointments of 2019 so far. First, let's take a look at two quarterbacks that were the number 1 and number 2 overall pick in the 2015 draft. I'm talking about Tennessee Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota and Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Jameis Winston. These guys had all the hype coming out of college. If you were the Titans or the Bucs, you felt like it was a win-win no matter what quarterback you were going to get. You felt like you had the leader of your franchise for years to come. Now, you look 4 years later, and these guys just aren't living up to their expectations. Marcus Mariota was recently benched for Ryan Tannehill. Jameis Winston finds the open linebacker like nobody else in the NFL. He throws more picks and touchdowns almost every year he's been in the NFL. And these guys just aren't cutting it. They have all these expectations, and now at the end of the year, they're both free agents. I think the Titans are going to keep going with Tannehill, and I think the Bucs are either going to look at free agency or a draft and move on from Winston. And for these guys to go number 1 and number 2 overall, and for both of them, in my opinion, to be busts, these guys have just been one of the biggest disappointments this year, letting their teams and honestly themselves down. Up next is the Atlanta Falcons. To me, they've been disappointing ever since they lost the Super Bowl against the Patriots. I feel like ever since that, their momentum and their team has gone downhill. You have Matt Ryan, a former MVP, Julio Jones, probably the best wide receiver we've seen in the NFL in the last 10 years. Devontae Freeman and Austin Hooper, those are two very good offensive players. With the weapons that you have on defense and a good head coach in Dan Quinn, to me it is such a joke. It's a joke that they have only won 2 games this year. You have one of the best trios offensively, arguably in NFL history. If you look at what those 3 have done together, and you can only win 2 games? I could be the offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons and score more points than they have their past couple games. How do you not average 30 points a game with Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Devontae Freeman? It is a joke that they have only won 2 games. Your division is okay. It's not even that hard of a division. They could honestly win. They should be in the NFC Championship every year, but they're not. I don't know what the problem is. They have the right pieces. To me, they have a good coach. They have a solid defense. There's just something that's not there that's clicking, and they have to figure it out, because if they keep it going, a lot of people are going to lose jobs, and a lot of people are probably going to get traded. That's why, to me, so far in 2019, the Atlanta Falcons have just been one big disappointment. Up next is the defending NFC champions, the LA Rams. To me, this is the most surprising disappointment this year. They have all the talent that they had last year going to the Super Bowl. Todd Gurley's missed a few games here and there with injury, but overall they still have McVay and Jared Goff, which is the offensive geniuses that got them to the Super Bowl last year. Right now they're sitting at 5-4, and that's 3rd place in the NFC West. What's such a disappointment is that they were in the Super Bowl last year. Todd Gurley's a former MVP candidate, and now you look at this year, in my opinion, they're not going to make the playoffs. You just look and you're realistic. San Francisco and Seattle. Those teams are in their division and they're going to make the playoffs. Then you look at other divisions like the NFC North with the Green Bay Packers and Minnesota Vikings. They're going to get in. They have better records than the Rams. So the Rams go from Super Bowl to not even making the playoffs, and they don't even have... it's just such a big disappointment. You have Sean McVay. Now people are saying, oh, maybe he's not a genius. Maybe he's not as good as we thought he was last year. To me, he's still good. It's just every team gets in that Super Bowl slump every once in a while. Whether you win it or you don't, you get to the Super Bowl, the next year you kind of struggle to find that success. But to me, the biggest disappointment is that they're not even going to make the playoffs. At 5-4, they could finish 10-6, 9-7, and they won't even be in. And to me, that is such a letdown. I honestly think, though, they'll bounce back. This isn't a reoccurring thing, hopefully, because they have such a young core with their coach and the quarterback and running back. To me, they'll be fine next year. It's just this year, the LA Rams have been a disappointment. The next disappointment has disappointed me. It's the Cleveland Browns. Now, about a year ago, I put out my video of 5 reasons why they would make the playoffs. I thought last season that they would at least get a wild card. This year, I thought they were going to win the division. They would be a dark horse Super Bowl pick. None of that. How do you have Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham, Kareem Hunt, Duke Johnson, Myles Garrett, all this talent, and you've only won 3 games? You have a year where the Steelers don't have Ben Roethlisberger, the Bengals can't even win a game, they can't even tie their shoes, and you're only winning 3 games. They beat the Ravens earlier in the year, and I thought, okay, they're going to turn it around, they're going to get things together, and they've only won 3 games. All this talent, and to me, the Browns messed up by hiring Freddie Kitchens. They should have gotten someone with more experience. Usually when you hire someone in-house, it doesn't always work out for the best. And to me, the Odell Beckham trade just isn't working out for them. They need O-line. They didn't need another receiver. The Jarvis Landry, to me, he'll be a number 1 receiver. You don't need OBJ. I feel like they should do something about that. Maybe trade him to get an offensive line next year. You have all this hype, and honestly, sometimes that can hurt you when everyone thinks, including myself, you're going to make the playoffs, you're going to make the Super Bowl. Sometimes that can be the worst thing for a young team, and Cleveland, hopefully they get it together. To me, they need the 2 big things is to maybe trade OBJ for an offensive lineman or something, maybe another defensive weapon, and they need a new coach. Freddie Kitchens was just a bad hire from the jump. So to me, those are the 2 big things. I think they can still bounce back. Their whole core is still very young, where they still have a very good future, in my opinion. I'm still high on this team. But 2019 is just not their year, and not only myself, but fans and all of Cleveland are very disappointed. Last but not least, I don't know where to begin with this one. This is the biggest disappointment of 2019 for me. I don't even know where to start. Antonio Brown. Last year, I thought this guy was on pace to be the greatest wide receiver of all time. He made catches and ran routes like nobody else in the NFL. This guy was just amazing. And then, to me, it started with Le'Veon Bell holding out last year. I thought that drew a lot of tension between him and the rest of the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's insane how he's gone downhill. He's gone downhill. Now his career's in jeopardy. He may not even play in the NFL. It all started with the helmet, him getting traded to Oakland, and then all this speculation that I'm not going to speak on with off-the-field issues. I thought he was a class act, someone that your kids could look up to, but now you don't know what to believe from this guy. He records his coach, him and John Gruden on the phone. He weasels his way out of Oakland, then he goes to the Patriots. If you screw up being on the Patriots, to me, you're not going to last anywhere, and that's exactly what happened. Antonio Brown went from being one of the greatest wide receivers of all time to he's not even going to play in the NFL anymore, and he's in his prime, and he's just wasted it. To me, if I was an NFL team, I wouldn't even risk it, because I would look at, like I said, the Patriots. Bill Belichick, the greatest coach ever, signs him, and you can't trust him. He causes more drama, and I'm just so disappointed in Antonio Brown. And he's the type of guy that if you saw this video, he might say something to me, but honestly, I don't even care. Antonio Brown is someone you can't even trust or talk to. He called out Juju Smith-Schuster. Like I said, he recorded John Gruden, phone tapped him. I mean, what NFL player does this? He just has I don't know. To me, I need to stop before it gets worse, because I've just lost all the respect in the world for Antonio Brown. And to me, he doesn't deserve to be back in the NFL. I can name 10 guys that deserve to be in the NFL over Antonio Brown. To me, hands down, he's the biggest disappointment of 2019. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm Will the Thrill, and make sure to follow me on Twitter at WTT Football Page, and we'll see you next time.